I used to think that the hardest part of English was the grammar. I spent years memorizing rules and tables. I filled notebooks with verb conjugations and preposition lists. I thought that if I could just master the past perfect or the conditional tense, I would finally be free. But one day I realized something that changed everything. It was a discovery that felt like a mystery at first. I noticed a strange paradox. I could talk about the news. I could explain a scientific concept. I could even argue about politics in my second language. But the moment someone looked me in the eyes and asked a simple question, I froze. That question was, tell me about yourself. Why is it that the most familiar topic in the universe is the one that makes us stumble the most? This is the one thing that stops most students from feeling truly fluent. You might know 1,000 words, but when you have to describe your own soul, you go silent. I think it is because we try to be too perfect. We think that our own life is too simple for the big words we have worked so hard to learn. But the truth is, the most beautiful parts of a human life do not require complex grammar. They require honesty. Welcome to True Grit English Stories. I am so glad you have found your way here tonight. My name is your mentor and your friend on this journey. This is a safe space for you to rest and reflect. We are going to spend the next 30 minutes together exploring the story of you. We are not here to pass a test. We are not here to be perfect. We are here to find your voice in a way that feels natural and warm. So please take a deep breath. Let the tension leave your shoulders. If you have a cup of tea or a warm blanket, now is the time to get comfortable. We are going to walk through this slowly. Just you and me. I want you to think back to a time before you knew what a noun or a verb even was. Think back to your very first memory. This is where your story begins. Do not worry about using the perfect past tense right now. Just let the images float to the surface of your mind. For some people it is a color. For others it is a feeling. I remember sitting on the wooden steps of my childhood home. I remember the way the sun felt on my neck as it started to go down. I did not have the words to describe the golden hour then. I did not know the vocabulary for nostalgia or peace. But those small moments are the foundation of who I am today. What do you see when you look back? Maybe it was the smell of fresh bread in a small kitchen. Maybe it was the sound of heavy rain on a tin roof while you stayed safe and dry inside. When we talk about where we come from, we are building a bridge between our past and our present. Your childhood is not just a list of dates and locations. It is a collection of colors and sounds and tastes. When you describe these things in English, you are not just practicing a language. You are giving your memories a second life. You are letting someone else see the world through your eyes. I used to be afraid that my stories were too small. I thought people only wanted to hear about big adventures or great achievements. I was wrong. People want to connect with the human parts of you. They want to know what made you laugh when you were 5 years old. They want to know what made you feel brave for the first time. You have these moments inside you right now. They are waiting for you to give them a voice. You do not need a fancy vocabulary to say the grass was green and the air was cold. Those simple sentences are often the most powerful because they are true. Think about the people who were there in those early years. Can you describe them using the words you know? Was there someone who always made you feel safe? Maybe a grandmother with soft hands or a teacher who told you that you were smart. When we talk about the people who shaped us, we are explaining why we see the world the way we do. It is a way of saying, this is why I am kind, or this is why I am curious. This is how you move beyond basic English. You start to use the language to show your heart. It is okay if you feel a little bit nervous about speaking. That is a natural part of the process. I want you to imagine that each word you speak is like a small stone you are placing on a path. You do not have to build the whole road at once. You just have to place one stone at a time. If you make a mistake, it is just a small ripple in a deep ocean of meaning. It does not change the beauty of the story you are telling. I am here to tell you that your voice matters. Your history is important. Even the parts that feel ordinary to you are extraordinary to someone who is listening for the first time. As we move through this hour, I want you to keep that image of your first memory in your mind. Let it be your anchor. Whenever you feel overwhelmed by the rules of English, come back to that simple image. The smell of the rain, the warmth of the sun, the sound of a voice you loved. These are the things that make us human, and English is just a tool to help us share that humanity. You are doing a wonderful job just by being here and listening. You are already further along than you were yesterday. In the next part of our journey, we will talk about the rhythm of your life right now. But for now, just sit with your past for a moment. Appreciate the journey you have taken to get to this point. You have learned so much and you have so much more to give. You are the architect of your own fluency and you are the author of your own life. Every word you learn is a new window opening in a house you are building for yourself. Take a moment to breathe and be proud of how far you have come. I will be right here with you as we continue. Your story is beautiful and it deserves to be told. So let us take the next step together. You are ready. I know you are. Let us begin the next chapter of your story. I am so glad we are doing this together. Now that we have looked back at where you started, I want to bring you into the present moment. I want to talk about the person you are today. There is a secret I have been waiting to share with you. It is something I discovered after years of watching students struggle with their confidence. You might think that to sound advanced you need to use long words that are difficult to pronounce. You might think you need to understand every complex rule in a thick grammar book. But here is the mystery. The most fluent people I know are not the ones who use the biggest words. They are the ones who can describe their ordinary life with the most clarity. Think about your morning today. What was the very first thing you noticed when you opened your eyes? Most students, when they practice English, will say, "I woke up at 7 and I had coffee." That is a fine sentence. It is correct, but it does not tell me who you are. It does not help me feel what you feel. The secret method I want to teach you is called the sensory anchor. It is a way to use your 5 senses to ground your English in reality. Instead of saying "I had coffee," try to think about the heat of the cup in your hands. Think about the way the steam rose into the cool air of your kitchen. When you use sensory words, you are not just reciting facts. You are sharing an experience. This is the bridge that connects your heart to the person listening to you. I want you to try this right now. Think of one object in your room. Do not choose something complicated. Just a simple object. Maybe it is a lamp or a book or a plant. Look at it closely. What color is it really? Is it a bright green or a soft dark green? How does it feel if you touch it? Is it smooth or is it rough? By focusing on these small details, you are training your brain to see the world in English. You are moving away from translating words and moving toward expressing life. I used to have a student who was a very successful doctor. He could read medical journals in English without any trouble. But when he went to a dinner party, he felt like a child. He told me that he felt like he had a wall in front of his face. He could talk about medicine, but he could not talk about himself. We worked on this one thing together. We stopped focusing on his career and started focusing on his senses. I asked him to describe the way the rain sounded on his office window. I asked him to describe the taste of his favorite childhood meal. Slowly the walls started to come down. He realized that English was not a prison of rules. It was a playground of observations. This is the shift I want you to make today. I want you to stop worrying about being impressive. I want you to start being observant. When you describe your daily rhythm, you are letting people into your world. Do you wake up before the sun? Is there a certain magic in the quiet of the early morning for you? Or are you someone who loves the energy of a busy street? I like to start my day with a warm cup of tea and a few minutes of silence by the window. This is a very simple story. But it tells you that I value peace. It tells you that I like to be prepared for the day ahead. When you share these small pieces of your life, you are giving the listener a gift. You are saying, here is a little bit of who I am. And the best part is that you already have all the words you need. You know the word warm. You know the word quiet. You know the word window. You do not need a fancy vocabulary to sound human. In fact, the most human sentences are often the shortest ones. I am happy. I am tired. I love the light in this room. These are the sentences that people remember long after a conversation is over. Let us practice a little bit of grammar without it feeling like work. When we talk about our daily lives, we often use the simple present tense. It is one of the first things you learn, but it is also one of the most powerful tools you have. I walk. I see. Feel. I want you to imagine you are walking through your house. Tell me what you see using that simple pattern. I see a white door. I hear the clock on the wall. I smell the wood of the floor. Notice how you do not need hyphens or complex structures to make me understand your environment. This is the beauty of the language when it is stripped down to its heart. There is another part of this mystery that I want to reveal. We often think that we need to talk about big events to be interesting. We think we need to talk about our promotions or our vacations or our big successes. But real connection happens in the gaps between those big events. It happens when you talk about why you like a certain type of pen. It happens when you explain why you always sit in the same chair to read. These are the details that make you unique. No one else in the world sees the world exactly the way you do. Your English is the tool that lets you share that unique vision. I want you to take a deep breath and let that sink in. You do not have to be anyone else. You do not have to sound like a news reporter or a professor. You just have to sound like you. If you make a mistake with a verb ending, it does not matter. If you forget a word and have to describe it instead, that is actually a great way to learn. If you forget the word for refrigerator and you say the big cold box in the kitchen, I will still know exactly what you mean. In fact, that is a very creative use of the language. It shows that you are thinking in English instead of just memorizing. As we sit here in this quiet space, I want you to think about one thing you do every day that makes you feel like yourself. Maybe you take a long walk in the evening. Maybe you listen to a specific song while you cook dinner. Try to find 3 words to describe that feeling. Just 3 simple words. For me, when I sit down to talk to you, I feel calm and helpful and focused. Those 3 words are my anchor. They help me stay present with you. What are your 3 words for today? You can say them out loud right now. No one is judging you. This is your space to grow. You are doing so well. I know that learning a language can feel like climbing a mountain that never ends. You look up and the peak is so far away. But I want you to look down for a moment. Look at how far you have already climbed. You are listening to a long story in English and you are understanding it. You are reflecting on your life and your memories. You are engaging with your senses. This is what real progress looks like. It is not about a grade on a test. It is about the feeling of the words becoming a part of who you are. In the next part of our session, we will talk about your passions and the things that make your heart beat a little faster. But for now, I just want you to be proud of your daily rhythm. Be proud of the way you navigate the world. You are a person with a story, and that story is worth telling. Take a moment to feel the air in the room. Feel the weight of your body in your chair. You are here. You are learning. And you are doing an amazing job. I am so happy to be your mentor on this path. Let us stay in this peaceful moment for just a little longer before we move forward. You are safe here, and your voice is growing stronger with every breath you take. Keep going. You are closer than you think to the fluency you dream of. It is already inside you, waiting to be spoken. We have traveled through your past, and we have looked at the simple rhythm of your today. Now I want to go a little deeper. I want to talk about the things that make your heart beat a little faster. We all have passions that we keep hidden away. Sometimes we do not talk about them because we think they are not important. Or maybe we are afraid we do not have the right English words to explain them. This brings us to another part of the mystery we are exploring together. I have noticed a strange thing with many students. They can talk about their work for an hour, but they stumble when they talk about what they love. This is the paradox of passion. When we care about something deeply, we want to describe it perfectly. We want to find the exact word for the way the soil feels in a garden, or the way a specific note sounds on a guitar. Because we cannot find that perfect word, we often say nothing at all. We stay silent because we do not want to do our passion an injustice. But here is the secret method I want to share with you tonight. I call it the energy map. This method is about moving away from technical nouns and moving toward emotional verbs. If you love gardening, you do not need to know the names of every flower in English. You do not need to know the words for different types of fertilizer or specialized tools. Instead, I want you to talk about the energy of the garden. You can say, I love to watch things grow. You can say, the color green makes me feel peaceful. You can say, I like the feeling of the earth on my hands. Do you see what is happening there? You are using very simple words to describe a very deep feeling. This is how you share your heart without getting lost in a dictionary. For me, my passion has always been books. I remember being a young student and wanting to explain why I loved a certain story. I tried to look up literary terms. I tried to learn words like protagonist and foreshadowing. But those words did not capture the magic. When I finally learned to say, I feel like I am in another world when I read, or I love the way a story makes me cry, then people finally understood me. They did not need the big words. They needed my honesty. They needed to see the spark in my eyes. What is that spark for you? Maybe you find joy in cooking for your family. Maybe you love the challenge of a difficult puzzle. Or perhaps you feel most alive when you are running in the park. I want you to think of one thing you love to do. Now I want you to think about how it makes you feel. Does it make you feel strong? Does it make you feel calm? Does it make you feel free? These are the words that matter. These are the words that build the bridge of connection. When you talk about your passions, you are sharing your energy. This energy is more powerful than any grammar rule. When a person is excited about a topic, they speak with a different rhythm. Their voice goes up and down. They use their hands. They smile. When you do this in English, the listener stops looking for your mistakes. They start looking at your joy. They are swept up in your story. This is a practical tip that will change the way you speak. Focus on the feeling and the fluency will follow. Let us look at some practical ways to use this energy map. When someone asks you what you do for fun, try to start with a feeling word. You can say I love gardening because it is very quiet. Or you can say I enjoy painting because it helps me relax. Notice how we use the word because to connect the action to the feeling. This is a simple structure, but it is very effective. It gives your sentence a reason and a heart. It moves the conversation from a list of facts to a shared experience. I want you to imagine we are sitting together in a cozy room. The lights are low and the world outside is still. I ask you what makes you happy. Do not reach for the most difficult word. Reach for the truest word. If you love to walk in the woods, do not worry if you do not know the names of the trees. Just tell me about the light coming through the leaves. Tell me about the sound of your shoes on the path. Use the words you already have to paint a picture. You are an artist and English is your brush. You do not need 1,000 colors to make a beautiful painting. You just need to use the colors you have with intention. Sometimes we feel like our hobbies are too simple. We think everyone loves music or everyone likes to travel. But no one loves music the way you do. No one experiences a new city exactly the way you do. Your perspective is unique. When you say I love the sound of a piano because it reminds me of my home, you are giving me a piece of your soul. That is a gift. It is a gift of trust. English is just the box that holds the gift. The box does not have to be perfect for the gift to be valuable. I want you to take a slow breath. Think about the last time you felt really happy while doing something you love. Can you see it in your mind? Can you feel that warmth in your chest? Hold on to that feeling. That feeling is the source of your best English. When you speak from that place, you do not have to translate from your native language. You are speaking directly from your experience. This is what it means to be truly fluent. Fluency is not about how many words you know. It is about how well you can share who you are. You might find that you get stuck sometimes. You might start a sentence and realize you do not know the word for a specific tool or a specific place. When that happens, I want you to remember the mystery of the description. If you forget the word for mountain, you can say the big stone hill that touches the sky. That is actually more beautiful than the word mountain. Shows that you are thinking. Shows that you are creative. Keeps the conversation going. Never let a missing word stop your story. Just go around it. You are doing such a wonderful job of staying with me. We are halfway through our journey and you are still here. You are listening and you are reflecting. This shows me that you have a passion for learning. You have a passion for growth. That is one of the most beautiful things a person can have. It means you are open to the world. It means you are willing to be a beginner so that one day you can be a master. I am so proud of the work you are doing tonight. In the next part of our walk together, we are going to look forward. We are going to talk about your dreams and the person you want to become. But before we do that, I want you to just sit with your passions for a moment. Give yourself permission to love what you love. Give yourself permission to speak about it simply. You do not need to be an expert. You just need to be yourself. Your voice is a melody that only you can sing. And I am so glad I get to hear it. Take another sip of your tea or just close your eyes for a few seconds. Feel the quiet power of your own story. You are moving forward one word at a time and you are doing it with grace. I will be right here when you are ready to take the next step. Your heart has so much to say and I am listening. Sometimes we are afraid to talk about our dreams. We think they might sound silly or too big. We worry that if we say them out loud in a new language, we might sound like we are reaching for something impossible. This brings us to a very important part of the mystery we have been exploring. Why is it that we feel so vulnerable when we look at the future? I think it is because our dreams are the most honest part of who we are. They are the map of our future self. And speaking about them in English can feel like a mountain that is too high to climb. I want to share a secret method with you tonight. I call it the future lens. This method is not about learning a list of complicated grammar rules for the future tense. It is about a shift in your perspective. Most students think they need to use words like will and going to perfectly to be understood. But the real secret to talking about your dreams is to use the sensory anchor we talked about before and apply it to a time that has not happened yet. Think about where you want to be in 1 year. Do not look at a calendar. Do not look at your bank account. Just close your eyes and see a version of yourself that is happy. What is that person doing? Maybe you see yourself standing in a kitchen in a new city. Maybe you are reading a thick book in English and you are not using a dictionary at all. You can feel the weight of the book in your hands. You can feel the smooth paper. You can understand the story perfectly. This is not just a dream. This is a destination. And you can talk about it using very simple words. You can say, I see myself in a library. I see myself talking to a friend in a cafe. I feel proud because I am speaking clearly. Notice how I am using the present tense even though I am talking about the future. This is a practical tip that will help your confidence. When you speak about your dreams as if they are already happening, your brain starts to believe they are possible. It stops being a test you have to pass and starts being a reality you are building. You are the architect of your own life, and every word you speak is a brick in that house. I used to dream of being able to help people like you find their voice. It took me a long time to say that out loud. I spent years thinking that I needed to be more prepared or more professional. I thought my English had to be perfect before I could help anyone else. But one day I realized that my mistakes were actually what made me a good mentor. My mistakes showed that I was human. They showed that I had walked the same path you are walking right now. When I started to talk about my dream of teaching, I did not use big words. I just said I want to help people feel calm when they speak. That simple sentence changed the direction of my life. What is your simple sentence? What do you see when you look at next year? Maybe you want to travel to a city you have only seen in movies. Maybe you want to get a better job where you can use your English every day. Do not be afraid to say it. You can say, I hope to travel to London. I want to talk to people from different countries. I would like to share my ideas at work. These goals are important. They give your learning a purpose. When you speak about your dreams, you are giving yourself permission to grow. You are saying to the world that you are not finished yet. Let us practice some phrases together in this quiet space. I want you to start a sentence with the words in the future I will. Now tell me one thing you want to do. It could be something small like watching a movie without subtitles. In the future I will watch a movie and understand everything. It could be something big like moving to a new country. In the future I will live in a place where I speak English every day. Can you feel the power in those words? They are not just sounds. They are promises you are making to yourself. The mystery of fluency is that it is not a finish line. There is no day where you wake up and suddenly you know every word in the dictionary. Fluency is a journey. It is a path we walk together one step at a time. Each dream you have is a new view on that path. When you are tired, you can look back and see how far you have come. When you are excited, you can look forward and see the beautiful places you are going to go. English is the tool that helps you walk. It is the bridge that carries you over the difficult parts. I want you to take a deep breath. Let the air fill your lungs and then let it go slowly. Think about one thing you are proud of today. It could be something small like making a good meal or finishing a difficult project. Now take that feeling of pride and project it into the future. Imagine feeling that same pride but even stronger. That feeling is the heart of your story. When you are ready, try to say it out loud even if you are alone. Just hearing your own voice in English can be life-changing. It makes the dream feel real. It makes the words belong to you. You are doing so well. I am so glad I could be here to listen to you and guide you through these thoughts. You are learning and growing every single day. Even when you feel like you are standing still, your mind is working. It is collecting words and rhythms. It is building your future self piece by piece. Do not hurry. Take your time with the words. Let them settle in your mind like dust settling in a quiet room. You are building a home inside this language. And every home needs a dream to make it feel alive. Tomorrow when you wake up, I want you to think of one small dream for your day. Could be I will learn one new word today. Or it could be I will listen to my favorite song in English. Whatever it is, it belongs to you. It is your truth, and that is the most powerful thing you can ever share. Thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you for opening your heart to this language and to your own future. You are becoming the person you want to be, one word at a time. In the final part of our journey, we will talk about how to bring all of this together. We will talk about how your past and your present and your future all fit into one beautiful story. But for now, just stay with your dreams. Let them be warm and bright in your mind. You are more ready than you think. You have the words. You have the heart. And you have the courage to keep going. I will be right here with you as we take the final steps together. Sleep well when the time comes and let your dreams be a preview of the wonderful life you are creating. Your voice matters. Your story matters. And your future is waiting for you with open arms. We have walked a long way together tonight. We have traveled from the first memories of your childhood to the quiet rhythm of your morning. We have looked at the passions that make your heart beat faster and the dreams that light up your future. Now we reach the final part of our journey. This is where everything comes together. This is where the mystery we started with is finally solved. I want you to sit with me for a few more minutes in this peaceful space. Let the world outside fade away. I told you at the beginning that talking about yourself is a paradox. It is the topic you know best, but it is often the hardest to speak about. Why is that? I think it is because we feel like we are on a stage. We feel like the person listening is a judge and we are a student taking a test. We think that if we forget a word or use the wrong tense, the story is ruined. But here is the final secret method I want to share with you. I call it the bridge of connection. This method is the most important one of all. It is the realization that English is not a performance. It is a gift. When you talk about yourself, you are not trying to prove how much you know. You are giving the person listening a piece of your life. You are saying, I trust you with my story. When you see it this way, the pressure disappears. You are no longer a student trying to be perfect. You are a human being trying to connect. And connection does not require perfection. It only requires honesty. Think about the methods we have learned today. We use the sensory anchor to describe the world around us. We use the energy map to talk about the things we love. We use the future lens to look at our dreams. These are not just English tips. They are ways to show people who you are. When you use sensory words, you invite someone to see what you see. When you talk about your energy, you invite them to feel what you feel. When you share your dreams, you invite them to walk with you into the future. I want to tell you about a moment that changed my perspective forever. I was sitting in a small cafe in a city where I did not speak the language very well. I wanted to tell the person next to me that the music reminded me of my home. I was so nervous. I spent 10 minutes trying to remember the right grammar. I was looking for the word for nostalgia and the word for melody. But when I finally spoke, I just said, "This music feels like my mother." It was a very simple sentence. It was not advanced English, but the person looked at me and smiled. They understood exactly what I meant. We spent the next hour talking about our families. That is the power of simple honesty. You have that power too. You might feel like your English is a small cage that keeps you from saying what you want, but I want you to see it as a small window. Even a small window lets in the light. Even with a few words, you can say things that are deep and beautiful. You do not need to wait until you are an expert to start sharing your soul. You are ready right now. Every word you have learned is enough. Every sentence you can build is a success. As we come to the end of our time, I want you to think about the word mistake. We are so afraid of mistakes. We think they are failures. But a mistake is just a sign that you are trying. It is a sign that you are pushing against the edges of what you know. In a deep ocean of meaning, a small mistake is just a ripple on the surface. It does not change the depth of the water. It does not change the beauty of the sea. When you speak English, let your meaning be the ocean. Let the mistakes be the ripples. Just keep swimming forward. I want you to take one more deep breath with me. Breathe in the progress you have made today. Breathe out the fear of being perfect. You are a person with a unique history. You have experienced things that no one else has. You have a perspective that the world needs to hear. That makes your voice necessary. Whether you are talking about the smell of rain or your hope for a new job, your voice has value. Do not let the rules of language silence the song of your life. You have done a wonderful job tonight. You have listened to a long and thoughtful story. You have reflected on your own path. This is how real fluency is built. It is built in these quiet moments of reflection. It is built when you decide that your story is worth telling, even if it is not perfect. I am so proud of the way you have stayed with me. You are growing every single minute. You are becoming a more confident version of yourself with every word you understand. The night is very still now. It is a good time to rest. But before you go, I want you to remember that you are the architect of your own fluency. You are the author of your own life. This language belongs to you now. It is a tool in your hands. Use it to build bridges. Use it to share your heart. I will be here whenever you need a reminder of how far you have come. Our journey together is just one part of your much bigger story. I have a small suggestion for you before we say goodbye. Tomorrow when you wake up and the house is quiet, try to do one small thing. Try to describe your very first thought in English. Do not write it down. Just say it out loud to the room. Could be something simple like "I am thankful for this coffee." Or it could be "Today I will be brave." Whatever it is, let it be your truth. Let it be the first sentence of a new chapter. Thank you for spending this time with me at True Grit English Stories. Thank you for opening your heart to this language and for trusting me to be your guide. You are doing so much better than you think. You are more prepared than you feel. Sleep well and dream in the language of your heart. I will be here when you are ready to speak again. Your voice matters. Your story matters. And you are ready to tell it to the world. Good night and keep going. You are exactly where you need to be.